What's up guys, this is DS. In this video I'm gonna review one of my most frequently used app called Instapaper. In case you've never heard of it, it's basically an app that allows you to save the articles you read on the web and read whenever you want. What's really special about Instapaper is that it uses the algorithm to just save the content of the articles and leave out all the distractions like ads and other non-content part of the web page. Just to give you a quick demo, here I'm reading an article in the web browser. As you can see, the reading experience of this website is not quite as good. There's basically ads all over the web page, in which case I might want to save it to Instapaper, take advantage of its algorithm to have a better, cleaner, purer content reading experience. There's other use cases I might want to use Instapaper, like if I couldn't finish this article right now, or I want to take notes on certain sentences or paragraphs within the article. There might be other use cases that I'm missing, but those are just the three main reasons that I personally use Instapaper. So how do I save articles to Instapaper? It's pretty simple and similar on both platforms, Android and iOS. It has a beautiful, intuitive desktop web version too, but I'll spend the most time in this video reviewing the mobile apps. So how do I do it on mobile? I basically share this article to Instapaper by clicking on the three dots on the top right in the Android Chrome browser, and I can click share to open up the share menu and choose Instapaper, or I can click on the small Instapaper icon here right next to the share button, because Instapaper is the last app I share to. So I just click it, and now it's saved to Instapaper. It's pretty simple, 2 clicks away. And now if I open Instapaper app, I can see the article that I just saved right there at the top. And notice how it has no ads and just content, which is pretty good. It's pretty similar on iOS. So still on this web page, I can click on the bottom tab of Safari and click on the share icon and choose Instapaper. Still 2 clicks away. Pretty similar and nice experience on both platforms. Now that we know what Instapaper is, let's get to the review. Typically, the way I review an application is that I'll take a look at 3 main aspects of it: functionality, user experience, and the design. And oftentimes at the end of the review, I'll give recommendations on how to improve the app's overall quality in all 3 aspects if necessary. Now let's get to it. Let's talk about functionality. Another way to phrase the term functionality is, does this app solve a real problem? And in the case of Instapaper, it certainly does. And it does a great job in all the 3 use cases that I mentioned: saving, reading, and taking notes on articles. And it does a great job using the saving algorithm to just save the content of the article and offering a really good, clean reading experience. Although I would say maybe 2 or 3 times out of 10, the saving algorithm might go wrong and would accidentally save non-content part of the web page, which I'll get to in the recommendation section of this video. There's other small issues that I'll talk in just a little bit, but those just don't get in the way of Instapaper to become one of my most favorite apps. So overall, I really like its functionality. It solves a real problem, A+. What about the user experience? In other words, how well does this app get the job done? I would say Instapaper does a pretty good job across all the functionalities like saving, reading, taking and viewing notes in articles, searching and organizing articles. There are some small issues, but overall it's pretty good. Saving on Instapaper is extremely fast, and it's usually 2 or 3 clicks away depending on which platform and browser you're using. And it's always 1 click away if you're using the desktop version. The quality of the saving, though, can sometimes be problematic for some websites. Let me switch to this article here. As you can see, it saves a little more than just the content, because the actual article starts from here. That's very likely due to the saving algorithm, which I think Instapaper should definitely put more time and effort on, now that it has been acquired by Pinterest and it doesn't have to worry about funding anymore. I don't have much to say about Instapaper's reading experience, because it's pretty standard if you use Kindle as a reference. It has all the settings you need basically, like you can change the font size and font style, of the reading UI, even the background and line margin, stuff like that. And I really like the way it hides the non-related UI while you're reading and leaves just the content. Pretty nice, clean experience. Same thing on iOS. Start scrolling, everything goes away. Taking and viewing notes on Instapaper can sometimes be frustrating. For example, here I'm reading this long note that I've taken, but as you can see, I need to scroll all the way because it's only showing this small UI, which doesn't really make sense because there's so much space left on the screen. So what about taking notes? So let's do one example here where I can just copy the thing I already have in the clipboard, and I can start typing, and as you can see, the last line, the bottom line of the note gets cut, which is essentially a bug on Android. iOS has no such problem, but Android has. And also, if I accidentally click on the background, all the things that I just typed would just go away. Super frustrating. And like I said, iOS has no such problem, but it's still showing this small UI whenever I'm saving and reading notes. Because see, the UI is pretty small. I'll skip the organizing and searching experience because those are pretty standard experiences and I don't really have anything to say about them. So overall, I would give A- to Instapaper's user experience. The minus obviously comes from the saving algorithm, which is not perfect, and the note-taking and viewing experience. Last but not least, let's talk about the design. I really like Instapaper's design. I really like the way it looks. It looks really nice, clean, and elegant. It has just the right amount of design for an article reading app like this, and especially like those details that look different across Android and iOS in a way that follows the platform-specific design patterns. There are two details that I want to mention. The first one is the search bar. On Android, the search icon is placed within the action bar, which is pretty Android looking. And on iOS, we can open the search bar by pulling down on the main UI, which is again what iOS users are super familiar with, as we can see in Mail and messaging app all the time. The second detail I want to mention is the placement of the action buttons. On Android, the action buttons are placed, of course, within the action bar at the top, and the less frequently used action buttons are hidden behind the three dots. On iOS, we all know how iOS likes to place everything down at the bottom, and Instapaper does a great job adopting the pattern, and you can see the action buttons right at the bottom. Overall, I would give an A+ for Instapaper's design. Huge fan of it. So yeah, that's been my review for Instapaper. As a final note, I would give something between an A and A+ for the app's overall quality. Really like this app, and I have no trouble recommending it to any of my friends who likes reading and taking notes on articles. For recommendation part, I would recommend Instapaper to work on first the saving algorithm to make the saving experience more seamless, and second, take advantage of all the space on the screen and make the UI bigger for note-taking and viewing on both platforms, and of course, bug fix for note-taking on Android. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to thumbs up if you like it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.